What no one told me about my first game day. So, because of my very long career, I've had a lot of firsts. My first game day experience in high school, I think the one thing that no one told me was that the dumber you feel, the better you look. As a performer, when you're performing a lot of these things, it's uncomfortable at first, especially for guys who've never done this before. The concept of motions, the concept of dance, the concept of being loud is can sometimes be a very foreign concept. And what I learned very, very quickly was that if you're just kind of a wallflower, if you're on the back, if you're trying to stay out of sight, out of mind, that's not you doing your job. If you're being loud and boisterous and excited, the crowd responds to that. So what I learned was that the more you dig into that, the more you emphasize the things that you're bad at, even if you feel bad at doing it, you're going to get better at doing it and you're going to look better to the crowd. What nobody told me about my college game day experiences, I think stems from the fact that I came from a very highly competitive team. Our goal was to always just hit our routine down at nationals, which is in Florida, Disney. We were UCA, there's an NCAA college nationals. And what our goal was always just hit a clean routine. And what nobody really told me about the game day experiences was that it really just becomes another practice. It's a practice just in front of, however many fans you have at any given game, whether it's basketball, whether it's volleyball, whether it's football. We were always trying to push the envelope as far as what we could do on the sidelines that would really help to prepare us for that nationals, that competition scenario. So a lot of what we would end up doing, especially towards the back end of the football season, were just elements of what we were trying to practice towards our routine. So as that football season got longer and longer, our skills got more and more difficult because we were trying to prepare for that competition. Now, what no one told me really about my game day experiences with the Ravens, as much as, experience I had coming into it, was that it's a different type of cheerleading. We are entertainers, we are ambassadors for our program, and with that comes a lot of it doesn't really matter if you're doing the hardest skill as long as the fans are staying engaged. And one could argue that more difficult skills are going to engage the crowd more. But in the reality of the situation is that the crowd at a NFL football game, they're there for NFL football. We have our own fans, of course, and people are there to see us. But at the end of the day, we're there to enhance the game day experience. And that means putting on a show that's going to entertain the crowd, not necessarily put on a show for ourselves, which has helped us preparing for another goal down the line. So, and I think across the board for all four of these game day experiences, something that nobody told me was just the sheer amount of athleticism that goes in behind it. You are on your feet from sometimes 7 in the morning to 5 o'clock in the afternoon. In college, we would have a football game with a basketball game with our nationals practices behind it. So that you're looking at 12-hour days where you're just being sheer physical, throwing people in the air, and the capacity for which you'd be surprised at how far your body can take you when you have those goals in mind, whether it's to be as exuberant and as boisterous and as enthusiastic as possible, whether it's to practice towards an ultimate goal of competing, or whether it's just to entertain the fans across the board. Athleticism plays a huge component in all of those scenarios.